I cannot be born. I don't think I was born to wake up, go to work, pay bills, and then sleep. The best moment of my life was the day I had my first employee. Because even when it got so tough, each time I walked in, I could see hope on his face. And that thing, it just kept pushing me to do it more and more. Because of that skill that I learned, that my mom had to push me to do, it's now putting food on someone else's table.
Today, I'm very excited to have on Catalyst Conversations with Mel, Lufuno Rasoesoe, who's CEO of Tosh Detergents, right? Lufuno, welcome to the show. I'm so excited to have you here. I've been following your career very closely, but I think maybe let's allow you to introduce yourself and tell us a bit about where Lufuno comes from and just background on brand Lufuno.
Thank you so much, Mel. Thanks for having me. So my name is Lufuno Rasoesoe, and I'm the founder and managing director of Tosh Detergents. Tosh is a proudly South African company that manufactures quality household cleaning detergents. And I think we basically focus on the sustainability part of it by using pure forms of raw materials to ensure that it's gentle to the users as well as to the environment. I was born and bred in Limpopo, in Venda, a small township called Makwarera, and I'm the eldest of 4 girls.
Oh.
Yeah.
Deputy mom by default.
Deputy mom,
Yeah.
Yes, but I think it plays a major role as a leader as well as an entrepreneur as well. Just being the eldest child, you just grow up with that innate nature of being responsible for everybody and everything. Yeah.
Now, I have, like I said earlier, watched you closely. I know you take very seriously the quality of your product. I know you take very seriously the whole green economy pushing and how to ensure that your products are green. But one thing I also really noticed as a part of your journey is that you are very passionate about your self-development. I've seen you at a lot of events that are geared towards personal development. I've seen you at a lot of events that are women empowerment driven, and you've just won an award. So please take us back about, just give us insight into that whole journey. Hi, everyone. I hope you're enjoying the conversation so far. We started this podcast to build a thriving community of change makers, business owners, entrepreneurs just like yourself. We want to share your stories and inspire others. But we can't do it alone. We need you to be part of the movement. So if you haven't already, please do subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you know when the new episode drops. The more you watch, share, and connect with our content, the bigger our community grows. And when we grow, so do the opportunities for us to learn, grow, and thrive.
Yeah, I think starting out the journey, entrepreneurship journey, I always felt like it had more to do with the business. But as I started engaging or being fully focused on the business, I realized that it's a great portion of being a successful business person. It's mainly about you as an entrepreneur or as an individual. So this meant to me to unlearn certain traits that I had, to learn certain traits that would make me successful. And because I'd never been an entrepreneur before, it was important for me to look out for courses. It was important for me to look out for workshops that empower me as an individual as well as automatically as a business person. And, as you go along the way, you realize that, okay, there are some things that you can relearn, but then there's definitely some habits and traits that need to fall off. So that is why it is important for me to always, go out there and seek knowledge and seek growth, because as much as I'm being empowered, then it helps me in my entrepreneurial journey. It makes me a better person. I think one of the things we once spoke about is routine, creating a routine.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's very much important because I feel, Mel, if you're able to keep the promises that you make to yourself on your own, then you can conquer whatever it is.
Self-management.
Self-management. And if you cannot manage yourself as an individual, then there's no way you can manage other people.
100%.
And there's just something magical about it that when you keep doing what you have to do, especially the things you promise yourself, it gives you a certain level of self confidence,
100%.
that nobody can take away from you. That is why I'm very much intentional about that.
And I also now notice that when I look at I know you from the circles and we chat, and I go to your WhatsApp status, you take very good care of yourself. I see you greening. I see you doing gym routines. How important is it to be physically active, but also mentally sound? Because I thoroughly believe that taking care of your body ultimately leads to taking care of your mental health.
For me, it's very much important because people always say, you are so consistent and committed to your running.
Yeah.
I'm like, for me, I realize that it's therapy. So when I do it, then I feel energetic, you know what, and my stress levels just reduce drastically. I only found out now that there's a certain hormone, a happy hormone that gets secreted each time you exercise. It's a happy hormone. So because entrepreneurship is problem solving every day of your life.
Every single day.
From the moment you wake up until you lay down, you are solving problems.
Yeah.
And if you are not mentally strong, it can crush you. I think that's why we've got a high rate of entrepreneurs who started but then couldn't carry through. Because, you know, like when I started, I actually didn't know that it was just going to be one problem after the other. And then I had to find a coping mechanism. So for me, it's waking up early. You know, when I have a routine, I feel like my life is balanced and I've got it under control. So it was important for me to say, I'll have a routine. I'll wake up early. I'll do my meditation. I'll go and exercise. But as much as I exercise, it was also important for me to eat right. Because then you realize your energy levels are higher. You know, you glow because you get invited to events, you know, and as a woman, it's important to feel good.
Absolutely.
And when you feel good, then you give the best version of yourself. So for me, when I feel good doing all these things that I need to do, even though I've not reached my goal, but I believe that I'm on the right path, and it gives me a sense of confidence, like I say. And it also helps me, you know, to be able to advise other people as well, and to also do what I'm supposed to do. Because I realize with eating all the wrong food, then you'd get grumpy,
yes,
or
energy levels are low.
fatigued. Yes. So I'm like, no, I need to find a way. So these are things that I'm discovering along the journey. And I realize how important it is for me. Because also one other aspect is that if I don't take care of myself, especially right now, the business needs me so much. And if I fail, the business fails. So I need to be very conscious of what I put in so that I can be there for the business.
100%. What you put in is absolutely what you get out.
That is so
and I
true.
think with us women, because we juggle so many balls, we have to be wives, mothers, teachers, sisters, sounding boards for a lot of people. And now you're a business person, you're an entrepreneur, and you have people that look up to you, the people that rely on you for the livelihood. So the importance of taking care of yourself as a woman with all the hats that we have to wear, it also reflects positively on the women around you and, you know, empowering women. Tell me, you're in a very male-dominated industry. How do you then navigate this boys' club as a woman and one of the few women in the manufacturing industries?
Before we get to that, Mel, I also want to add the fact that as a woman or as a mother, we've got this tendency of always looking out for everybody else except ourselves.
100%.
So I always used to feel guilty that each time I must go for my morning run, it would mean I won't have to see my kids go to school. But then I became intentional about it to say, this is me time. And I deserve this.
100%.
And I will have time with them, you know, because it's so difficult to say, no, let me put myself first. But if it works and if it brings you peace, because if you are at peace, everybody else is at peace. So I just wanted to throw that one in.
The best version of yourself, right? Yeah,
true.
Absolutely.
And also being a bit selfish with yourself and your time for you, you know, so you fill into your cup. Then you're able to also give out. Being in a male-dominated industry, it's not easy at all.
It's tough.
It is,
Yeah.
especially because immediately when you walk in, they've just concluded that, you know what, it's either you are fronting, that's what they normally say.
Yeah, you're representing somebody else that's of a different gender and different color. Yeah.
Who just decided to use you because of the BEE scorecard.
Absolutely.
So, and also now because of that notion, you have to prove yourself 2 times more, you know, in the efforts that you do, you know, in the excellence, the quality of the work that you do, and also your physical strength. I remember one incident where we had to offload stuff from the buggy into a receiving. Then one of the guys was like, "Oh, sister, why do you have to do this? Why don't you get a guy to actually do it?" I'm like, "But this is simply carrying a box from one point to another.
Exactly.
And I'm well able and capable,
Yes.
you know." And sometimes I think they also have this notion that they feel like if a woman is doing it, then that means there is nobody else to do it. it. And it's not always the case. We do things because we want to do
Absolutely.
it. We do things because they have to be done and because we also have the capabilities to do it. But men always feel like if she's doing it, that automatically means there is no man to come and assist her. Yeah. So I think those are the kind of barriers that we need to break, especially
100%.
in this male-dominated industry.
Now, Tosh Detergents, take us through this journey. How did it start? Why did you start a manufacturing business and how it came about? What planted the seed and got it to where it is today?
I think for the longest time, I felt empty. I felt a void internally. I used to feel, okay, at first, I was a traffic officer at one point. I did my civil engineering. I couldn't get a job. So then I applied as a traffic officer. I was fortunate enough. I worked there. But as I was working there, I used to feel, no, man, I've got a diploma. I had a diploma by then. I want to further my studies, get a degree, but I've studied to be an engineer. This is not where I'm supposed to be. Until I applied, I also furthered my studies. I got my BTech, and I fortunately got a job in the construction sector as a civil engineer. But also while I was there, I felt like, no, man, it still is not enough. Yes, So then I started to discover myself or to look within that. What is it that is missing? Because you were a traffic officer, you were not happy. You are now a civil engineer, you are not happy. Then I realized that I think fulfillment is something that you need to search within.
Absolutely.
That what is it that is going to make me happy? And I knew how to make soap. Fortunate enough, soap making was a heritage that I inherited from my mom.
Oh, lovely.
So my mom used to make soap as a side hustle.
Oh, wow.
Little did I know that it was a launch pad for my true purpose.
Right.
So during COVID lockdown, I would make soap. I think it was therapeutic for me. I found it relaxing. And as I was making soap, I got so much joy and fulfillment. I felt so much drawn to it. And that is when I started to research more. I shared the soap with some of my friends and they loved it. I'm like, but why don't I make more of this? Because people love this. That's when I'm like, maybe I should just charge them for the soap. And people started buying into the detergents. And then I always say one thing always leads to the other because your passion draws you. I started making soap. I started researching more about it. And I became so much passionate about it. And that was when I decided that my mom made soap. I know how to make soap, but nobody knew about it except the few people who stayed around us. But then I made a decision that I'm going to make soap and I'm going to make sure that it's going to sit comfortably with the multinationals. Because then it opens up your mind to say, who are the leading people in the detergent space? Why don't we have local players in that space? And, as I say, one thing just leads to the other. But as I was doing that, I found my true purpose. I felt so fulfilled. I loved doing it. I always say I miss the garage days because I would sleep for 2 or 3 hours, wake up, and then I would make soap.
Wow.
So I think it's always one thing that draws you or it gives you feel passionate about, but then later you realize that is where your true fulfillment lies. So with me, it was just a quest to say, I cannot be born. I don't think I was born to wake up, go to work, pay bills, and then sleep. But each time I started making soap, and I always say the best moment of my life was the day I had my first employee. Because even when it got so tough, each time I walked in, I could see hope on his face. And that thing, it just kept pushing me to do it more and more. And I feel like how I started, or the reason I started, is just evolving and changing with time. Right now, I feel like it's mainly what my dream does for other people that really keeps me going and gives me this drive to say, because of Tosh, because of that garage idea, because of that skill that I learned, that my mom had to push me to do, it's now putting food on someone else's table. It's now giving someone hope, Some of the messages you read from the employees, about how hopeful they now are, how they feel that they have got purpose. It's just heartwarming, and then it just keeps you.
That is fascinating to me. Now let's talk about purpose, because your purpose has led you to building communities, to empowering people around the community, to give them hope. What do you think is the biggest driver for you beyond your purpose, beyond community or entrepreneurship or even youth development to say, I have started a company that now employs, empowers, and capacitates this youth. What is your dream for the people around Tosh that work, that observe you and your journey, and obviously go through the motions of learning a skill they never knew anything about in the industry? What is your ultimate dream for those that you empower in that community through the employment?
I wish for them to find their true purpose as well. Because I believe that a leader is supposed to create more leaders. My wish for them, I do love them and I love them working at Tosh, but I feel like the ultimate goal is not for them to be there and grow grey and old. It's for them to make impact elsewhere. Maybe not in detergent manufacturing, but somehow. Because I believe, Mel, we are created with, God has placed inside of us something unique and special that doesn't exist in anybody else. And it would be very much wrong and selfish of you to die without unleashing that which 100%. God has placed inside of you. So through my leadership and through the environment, I wish they can discover their true purpose, why God has created them, and what it is that they've got inside that they need to give to the world.
I'm pretty certain that getting Tosh to where it is today was not an easy journey. I'm pretty certain that there has been challenges that made you question a lot, that have helped you grow, that have helped you be innovative, think out of the box, and be resourceful. What are those key lessons, and what do you think your career in the past, having been a civil engineer, having worked in the traffic department, how has it prepared you to be where you are, to drive this company to where it is today?
Okay, I think when it comes to Tosh, with Tosh, we are forever branded. We are always in
always,
uniform.
Yeah.
Yes. I love uniform. Yeah. And I think that's a trait that I got from being a traffic officer, because we are forever in uniform, and we are told the importance of being in uniform, how much we should respect the uniform, and how much dignity it gives us as a traffic officer. It's that uniform that sets you apart from just an ordinary person.
100%.
So I think that was the trait that I learned, and it also teaches you discipline. Because it's about how you convey yourself when you have that Tosh on. And it's the type of culture that I try to instill in the employees, that you have to be proud of this badge that you wear. And you need to conduct yourself in a certain way simply because you are branded. And I always remind them on a Friday that, remember, whatever you're going to do, remove your Tosh and be you.
Don't go enjoy your escapades with the badge. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
That's incredible.
It is. The other important lesson I learned with being a traffic officer was protocol, because we salute, we honor authority, and that has taught me so much, even where I am right now. To say it is important for us we could feel like we are on the same scale, but it's important for us to acknowledge people who are in authority, and that has really helped me. Being in the construction side, I dealt with males. It was a male-dominated environment, so it gave me confidence. Then I know, because I was a building inspector, so it meant that for every house or building that was constructed, I had to ensure that it complies with the national building regulations, and if it didn't, then I wouldn't sign it off. So that authority was able to build me up to say, we as women can be whatever. Even we can also give instructions to men. We can also tell them no, and it's fine. It's okay. So I think it helped me to be strong and resilient, especially in a male-dominated area. Little did I know that I would have to move to a manufacturing sector, which is also male-dominated. So it prepared me for that.
Overcoming those kinds of things, it speaks a lot to what you need to overcome over the entrepreneurship journey, especially as a woman in a very male-dominated industry. I mean, overcoming challenges also in a competitive market. How do you navigate that? I mean, Tosh has navigated them. I'm seeing them on a lot of shelves of retailers. Talk us through that journey.
Sure. That is not an easy journey.
Yeah.
Well, I always say to people of faith that you just need lots of it.
Lots
and lots of faith.
Yeah.
But practically, it's just about excellence, I think, above everything. Because I look at my fellow counterparts, fellow SMME, small business, upcoming businesses, and I realize that there is a lack of level of excellence in how their products are, packaged, how we do things as small businesses. We start off as small businesses, but we continue with the small business mentality. So I think what helped me so much was the fact that when I started, I was intentional that I want to see Tosh sitting alongside the multinationals. So that means I had to pick myself up and also try to be on their level, regardless of how small we were. Whether it was just a crate, 12 bottles that we were making, they had to be on the same standard, on par with what the multinationals are doing. So I think it helps you, to pull your socks up. And also the other thing is, there are so many opportunities. There are vast opportunities. We need to know what is it that, for example, the Minister of Small Business has said regarding us as small businesses. Be informed, find out. They are saying to us they want to give us market access. They want us to share market space with the multinationals. Then we go forth and we fight for that because it was promised unto us.
100%.
So we've got a product which complies with everything. So we need to be bold enough to go and approach those multinationals. I think just last week there was a meeting with one of the leading retailers, and they were telling us that they've got success stories. They are supporting small businesses. And I raised up my hand and I posed a question as to, I don't even know a single leading retail that has got locally manufactured detergents, like from small businesses, black-owned businesses like you claim. Can you just give me one brand? And they couldn't. So we have to challenge those things. And that means sometimes you want to be the most favorite or the most liked, but you need to stand up and say those things because that's the only way that you will get their attention.
But that's the thing. Unpopular opinion shouldn't be a deterrent to you asking those difficult questions. And now, I believe in being the change that you want to see. I mean, in this industry, we had a conversation with someone. They were talking about black labels. Black labels, not the beer, but basically saying products that are owned by black people are not fighting for aggressively enough. There are incubators, there's transformation discussions that we have, but we're not taking enough advantage of that. What would you say to somebody who says, oh, there's no funding, therefore I'm not going to do it, or, oh, the government is not doing enough? What encouragement would you tell them, and what power can how can you empower them to say, you have the power to change the narrative in your own sphere? Not having to wait, or government didn't do this, or I don't have funding, or whatever excuse comes to mind.
No, I think what I really loved, something I heard this week, it just reiterated what I always say: start where you are with the little that you have. Industrialization, it will find you on the way. Resources will find you on the way. We started with a 25-liter bucket and a wooden spoon. That's how we started.
Oh, wow.
And right now we've got mixing drums. We do not have a full production line, which is mechanized. We're still using plastic jugs to measure. Sometimes it delays the process because we then have to deliver late because we were not able to fulfill the order timely. But we are using whatever that we have at our disposal, and we are doing it excellently. I always say, do your best. Your product will sell itself. So more often we've got entrepreneurs who are full of excuses. I think for me personally, it would also be difficult for me to invest into an idea. But if I've seen what you have done and I see the effort that you put in, then it's more likely to push you to say, no, man, let's invest in this person. So just start where you are with the little that you have, but do it excellently.
No, 100%. So now I've seen you on a lot of print media, social media, Top Women, Empower Her, and awards and accolades. Maybe take us through that, and I'll tell you why. I don't believe that there is enough platforms that women are celebrated in. We're trying, but we could do better. I went to facilitate a talk one day, and men were saying to us, women are not pushing us aggressively enough. And the recognition that you have is through your output, and then your output gets recognition. Recognition ultimately gets you business. So talk us through the awards that you have gathered through Tosh Detergents.
Sure.
Celebrate yourself. Don't be shy.
Mel, I cannot even think about all my accolades from the top of my head.
Yeah.
I think 2 weeks back, I asked the admin lady, I'm like, please just try to
package
everything else, because it feels like everything just happens all at the same time. But I think it's such an honor to be recognized, I mean, locally and globally. Big banks like Standard Bank, Top Women 2023 last year. United Nations as Young Entrepreneur of the Year. City of Tshwane Best Manufacturing Business.
Lovely.
Nedbank Best Green Business. Germany as well recognized us for being a best green manufacturing business.
Wow.
And we also had to take our products to Germany last year. So it's always exciting. Valve Bold Woman, the recent one, it was a global one. So I was so excited about that one. And also the story of how it originated from Miss Clicquot. Madame Clicquot is the one who started the Verve brand.
Yeah.
And it was after her husband passed away. So after the husband passed away, she was only 27. And during that time, they were not allowed to have businesses. They were not allowed to have bank accounts. But she was resilient and bold enough to say, I'm going to take over my husband's business. And today we are Verve.
Wow.
So it recognizes the boldness and the resilience that women have globally. So that was one exciting one. Currently, I've been nominated for the 40 Under 40. I think it's happening next week. And I think more often what surprises me is the fact that it's people, external people that nominate me. And sometimes I just get a call, I'm like, when did this happen?
Yeah.
So I'm also excited because it means people recognize what we are doing and people feel that there is a need for us to be recognized. And with winning all these accolades, I think it also motivates me to say, you are certainly on the right path.
100%. Yeah. It's so admirable to see that your work speaks for yourself beyond the everyday, intricacies. We're often on autopilot because things have to get done. And it's always such an honor and a privilege once you see that you're recognized. So congratulations on all your success.
Ma'am.
So let's now delve into sustainability and innovation in the detergent industry. I know that with your industry, there has to be innovation. You're a green company. What is the future for Tosh in as far as being disruptive and innovation? What's in the pipeline as part of your growth plan to ensure that, it's sustainable, it expands even beyond you because it's such a powerful company. And with all that you're doing around empowerment, what does the future hold?
Okay, so with the first element, I want to put it out there, it's our raw material. So our raw material, we're sourcing it from Limpopo. And we've got local villagers who harvest, it gets processed, and we use it in our detergents. So with that one, our plan is to get a factory space where we'll also be able to plant that the certain indigenous plant, so we can also have it, in-house, and also just to protect it from being extinct. The second one that I'm really excited about is the fact that we are replicating Tosh in the sense that we are creating containers in the rural areas as well as townships where people will be able to bring their own containers and refill a Tosh.
Incredible.
So we want to do away with the plastic, reduce the carbon footprint in the plastic space and also make it more accessible and affordable to the communities that were previously marginalized. We want to give them the best, but on an affordable scale or in an affordable manner. So I'm really excited about that one. We're going to be rolling out first in Limpopo, and people will be able to come with their containers, whatever coins they have, they will be able to get detergents.
That is incredible. Going green is also being mindful about your footprint, your carbon footprint, and there's always innovative ways to ensure that your footprint is lessened. So that's really admirable. All right. So now, advice for entrepreneurs. There's somebody watching this show. There's somebody thinking, "Oh, she's so inspirational." What advice would you give somebody who wants to get into a space and says, "Oh, wow, I can relate to that. This is something I think I'm keen on doing." What would you, pearls of wisdom and lessons would you want to impart?
Okay, because we have already spoken about starting where we are, using the little that we have and doing it excellently, I think the other important one is to be your true, authentic self. Because more often we fall into the trap of trying to, because Tosh is doing detergents. I also want to do detergents. How is Tosh posting? How is Tosh? And then you don't really unleash the true potential that you truly have. So be your authentic self, because your passion will drive you. It will lead you. It will help you navigate, and it will open doors for you. I think for me, one important thing is that when I started Tosh, I always felt, I wish there was a blueprint. I wish there was somebody who has done detergents.
Yeah.
You know how how saturated the cosmetic space is now. So almost everybody is doing moisturizer, is doing black soap, turmeric bar soaps and creams. And when you go onto social media, you see a lot of these businesses that just mushroom as well. But it's almost the same concept. So with me, I was like, I wish there was just one blueprint of somebody doing detergents, and I would see, I would like copy how they're. But then I think that was a blessing in disguise, because I couldn't find one. Because it helped me to search within and then unleash that potential and the creativity that I have for Tosh detergents. So be your true authentic self. Let your passion drive you. Don't do something because somebody else is doing. And also start. I think that is the most important thing. Start. Because there isn't a perfect time. And there are things, limiting factors like fear that will come upon you. I think that's one thing that really helped me. So, but just do it. Like Nike would say, just do it. Yes.
Just do it.
As long as it's planned well, and as long as you plan to do it excellently, just do it.
Just do it. That's a tagline that resonates the most with me, especially with this podcast. I mean, I've been putting it off for years in my head. Imposter syndrome is a reality sometimes. So that I agree with entirely. What is Lufuno's legacy when God calls you home? How would you like to be remembered?
Sure. I would like to be remembered as the woman who took over the detergent space. I was telling the women last week that sometimes even male who call us for an interview don't really believe in what you're doing.
But I do.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, let's set that record straight. Yeah, 100%, yeah.
Because I told them, I said I was once invited for a TV interview, and the title when I got there was David against Goliath. I'm like,
oh, wow.
Yeah. But as I am, I was like, okay, I'm quite convinced that this is going to be a success story because we know what happened between David and Goliath. At the end, he was victorious. So I think because of the magnitude of the players in the detergent space, it's quite difficult to have faith or even for people out there to really believe that you are able to come in and take over. But as a kingdom child, I believe we are called to dominate. We are called to give out the best that we can, and it is possible. So after I have gone home to be with the Lord, I want people to remain and said, she came, she did it, and because of her, we are now able to impact more lives.
100%.
Yeah, we were able to discover our true self, because it is through Tosh detergents that I want people to really believe that there is so much greatness within each one of us. There is so much greatness that I was able to discover and still discover and still stand, and is this really me? But it's because God has placed so much that I haven't even tapped halfway into. And I believe and I know that this greatness that is within me, there is also unique greatness in each and every person that I meet. So my legacy would be for everyone to realize how great they are and to really fully unleash that greatness.
Yeah. Lufuno, in closing, I think we've already covered you speaking to your audience to say, just do it, start. You believe in excellence. You believe in going through and doing things, no complacency, seeing it to a science. What question or call to action would you then give to your ESD guys? And I ask this because you've been through a lot of enterprise supply development programs. What message would you give to the stakeholders that has no real sense of what struggles and challenges and mountains you have to climb daily as a business? And they have these funds, programs to say, we are here to help you, and that's why the Department of Small Business exists in its parastatals. What message do you want to land specifically with those funders?
I think with the funders, the first one would be get somebody on the ground. Get fellow entrepreneurs to sit in your boards, be it boards or decision-making processes, because there are a lot of qualified people that do not really understand the dynamics of true entrepreneurship. You know what they study in their MBAs and what we actually have to go through, it's two different things.
100%.
And the other thing is, I feel there should be less theoretical givings, but there should be more practicality of things. For example, instead of sitting in a financial management class, say, for example, give an entrepreneur 5,000 rand. Tell the entrepreneur, this is your 5,000 rand. I want to see how you have managed it. And I want to see how much profit you've made. That is a very basic and practical way of learning. Other than sitting in classes and wasting so much time, teaching us the same business canvas over and over again. You know, I think there has to be a lot of practical work that goes into things or into these programs other than the theoretical part of things. I think that is one element that I feel really, and they also need to get mentors from people who have done it, who have been there, you know, the blueprints. We've got successful businesses out there that started as SMMEs, but now they're in the mainstream. So why don't you get those people to come and mentor and help? Because I also feel where I am, I'm fortunate that I do have access to most people who have done well, and I'm able to like text them here and then request advice, but they are not always accessible. And you know, in true honesty, Mel, they don't owe us anything. But if for example, it's a department that says, as part of the assistance we have given you, we expect you in advance to take up 2 or 3 ladies, mentor and help them.
Pay it forward.
Yes, you know, as we rise, we should also lift others up.
100%.
Yeah. And in my own capacity, I would feel, no, but I've got a lot to do. But if you are supposed to do it, then you will do it. 100%. And I think these are some of the ideas that should be incorporated with these ESD programs.
Lovely. They'll be watching, they'll be listening, and the message will land. Now, finally, I believe you are living in a previous dream that has been realized. What is Lufuno's dream going forward, moving from where you were and being where you are, which was a dream at one point, and now a reality? What is your dream right now?
My dream is to see a torch factory, Mel.
Yeah.
I just want to see our own torch factory. I want to see that parking space with those vehicles parked, those trucks that are ready to take torch to the world. SADC region, we are taking over Africa. I want to see employees there like ants, you know, like so many of them, busy, working, orders coming in, orders going out. I just want to see Torch growing and impacting more lives, and also tapping into the export market. I want us to not just to be a South African brand, but to be a global brand. So that is where I see Torch.
From Makwarara to the world.
From Makwarara to the world. And funny enough, Mel, there's a guy, you know, I'm from Makwarara and I was married in Mashamba. So he sent me a message today. He said, from Mashamba, not Makwarara, from Mashamba to the world.
You can say Makwarara to Mashamba to the world. Let's
you know,
accommodate everybody.
Squeeze them in.
Lufuno, thank you so much. This has been such a powerful interview. And I am really going to be looking at you like very closely and your ascension to those gigafactories. And of course, that will encourage employment and encourage others that really need a dream. So thank you for being a catalyst.
Thank you so much, Mel. Thanks for having me.